gosh, too many. I'm dropping them all over the place, but here we go, all my sweaters. Hey everyone, my name's Holly. I'm with Suave Knits, and today I'm going to be talking about that ginormous pile of knitting, aka everything I've knit in 2021. I've had a very busy year, if you can't tell. Also, we'll be talking about my kitty cat sweater, which is, of course, something that I knit in 2021. Before we talk about the kitty cat sweater, I have to show you Gizmo! He is the one who inspired it all. You could say he's my muse. You could also say he's the face that launched 1,000 sweaters, but not 1,000 sweaters have been knit yet, Giz. Maybe someday. Okay, so now that you've met Gizmo, I'll tell you about my first kind of draft of the kitty cat sweater. So this is not actually my pattern. I only designed the Gizmo face right here. I was inspired by this knitter that I saw on Instagram who's Norwegian, and she has this sweater pattern. It's called the Warg Polaris. I'm probably pronouncing it very wrong. I went to buy her pattern on Ravelry. It was a sweater with like husky faces all around it, and it was only available in Norwegian. So I found a different knitter who created the sweater called the Wilderness Sweater, and it has paw prints where each of the faces are. So I used her paw print chart and just kind of fit in my own Gizmo chart where all the paw prints were. And from there, I just kind of knit this ginormous sweater. I mean, it's giant. It's way too big because I didn't knit a gauge, obviously. So you can see on me, humongous. So from there, I actually entered this sweater in a Lion Brand contest that they were hosting on Instagram. It was called like #IamLionBrand. And I won first place, which was really exciting. And I decided I would use all the money that I won from that to kind of develop this kitty cat sweater pattern. So I feel like this is a good place to talk about kind of the difference between inspiration and just outright copying another designer. So really I felt like from the original designer with the Warg Polaris, I feel like the only idea I got from her was just the concept of putting faces on a yoke of a sweater. And with the second designer, where I kind of used her pattern to start this first kind of copy of my kitty cat sweater, I changed so much. So her pattern was knit bottom up in pieces, and I designed my sweater to be top down in the round. So off the bat, like the sizing was completely different. How I was knitting it was completely different. And I actually completely changed the charts. So you can kind of see here that this Gizmo face is kind of way smaller than this Gizmo face. So I just completely reworked everything, used my own sizing. I have 10 sizes available right now. So I think it is important to recognize if you're a designer and you want to make your own patterns, just being mindful of like not stepping on other designers' toes. I think it is good to be inspired by other knitters, especially knitters from other cultures. I think Norwegian knitting is just so beautiful. So I'll have both of their Ravelry stories linked below in the caption, just so you can like take a look at their patterns. I'm a huge fan of promoting other knitters, so I would love for you to look at their patterns if you have a chance. Okay, so next I'm going to tell you a little bit about all my puppy dog sweaters I knit this year. So this is the first take of my puppy dog sweater. This is Max, and this is my boyfriend's brother's dog. And I actually use this, this sweater to kind of work out the kinks in my pattern. This was the first time kind of knitting with all the numbers that I came up with. And what you'll see is actually this bottom motif. I, on this sweater, finished that and then separated the sleeves. But on the current pattern, you actually separate the sleeves here. And that's because it works out better with the yoke being kind of shorter. So yeah, this one was kind of an important one for testing out the numbers. I also haven't finished it yet, so technically it's not a finished product of 2021, but that's because his brother lives out of state and I feel weird about shipping my knitting so far, so he will get that eventually. So this sweater is probably the first sweater I did that I felt really good about. I actually finished this one, if you can believe it. This is Bo, this little puppy here. And I made this sweater for my friend and she hasn't gotten it yet because I'm not a fan of shipping my knitting yet. It kind of scares me. So she'll be getting it soon. Okay, so my last puppy dog sweater is the most recent one I did and also the cover of the pattern. This is for my best friend. These are her two dogs, Lucky and Ember. She hasn't gotten this sweater yet because, surprise, it's also not finished. I am so bad at doing the embroidery on these sweaters. It's like my least favorite part, but also like the most exciting part about the whole sweater. So I'm telling myself the reason I haven't finished it yet is because I want to film a tutorial while I do it, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But she's been really nice about waiting for it. And I'm also waiting on some wool wash so I can really wash this sweater really good because she's allergic to cats and Gizmo has been all over this sweater. So it's not really nice to give someone a present with the added bonus of allergies. So she'll be getting it once it's all finished and all clean. Okay, so the next two, they're like kind of finished objects. I actually wanted to make like a kitty cat puppy dog hat pattern before I made the whole sweater, and I got like kind of far on it, but you can kind of see like the fit is just kind of off. And then same for the second kind of try on it. I was gonna make this and then do the embroidery, but yeah, it just, and you can almost see, I'm sure you can tell on here, that the colors poke through. So I was trying to learn a new technique to kind of, you know, do the two colors without having the color show through. And it just wasn't working, and it wasn't going as quickly as I wanted. And I just wasn't as excited about the hats as I was about the sweater. So kind of scrapped the hats. Okay, so next is this hat, and it's super soft, super squishy. Unfortunately, I forgot the name of the pattern for this hat, so if I figure it out, I'll post it below. But yeah, I love it. It's super warm, which was exactly what I was going for. Kind of simple. It's just a brioche hat. And yeah, I love it. It just hasn't been super cold where I'm from, so I haven't really worn it that much. And I also like to wear my hair in a bun when I go into the hospital. So it's not super great for that, you know, with the bun, like it doesn't really work. So I guess I'll have to make myself a headband, but for now, you know, when I wear my hair down, it's perfect for that. So yeah, I'll try to link that below. Okay, so speaking of brioche scarf, woo! We all love brioche scarves, right? So this is a 2-color brioche scarf. I made it super long so you can just wrap it, be warm. I actually do wear this all the time, and I'm kind of in the process of making a pattern for it, and I'm really excited about it because it's like pretty simple. It's just like a repeat of 4 stitches, and I'm trying to make it with like Lion Brand Thick and Quick yarn. The plan right now is to make it a free pattern and do like a YouTube knit along kind of video for it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna try to film that soon-ish, but with being in school, it's been kind of difficult to try to like, you know, get all of my knitting goals accomplished. So that one has been kind of lower on the list, but I'm getting there, and someday that will come. Okay, next we have some chunky knits. Chunky knits are so much fun, mainly because they go so quick. So this one, I'll start with this blue here. This one was called, I want to say, the Almendro cardigan by the Glitter Knitter. And I remember this one distinctly because when she posted about wanting test knitters, I filled out the whole application and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And then I realized with school, I just didn't have time. So I was one of the first people, I'm sure, to buy that pattern because I was ready for it when it came out. And I love it. I get compliments all the time. I think I wore it out once and somebody actually came up to me and squished my arm, which was awesome. So yeah, I'll definitely link this pattern below. And then my other chunky knit, I think I used it was one of those like good night, good day patterns. I'll try to link it below, but I kind of just added my own stitch. I went through this phase where I was obsessed with the vertical purl, which I think is what this is called. And it's like every 4th row, you just throw in like a random purl stitch and it just like looks pretty cool and textured. So yeah, I love wearing this one too. They're soft and squishy. I mean, you can't go wrong with these like big old chunky knits. Okay, first, do you see back there? We're almost done. I can't believe it. So my last 2 things I have here. First, I went through like a huge striped sweater phase at the end of 2020. I don't know what it was. I was just obsessed with stripes. And I made a bunch of my friends striped sweaters for Christmas and was feeling super FOMO about it. So in early 2021, I had to make myself one. And I really haven't worn this that much, pulling it out of my closet. I'm gonna try to wear it again, but I think when I wore it the first time, it was like one of those like no makeup yoga pants days. And I kind of felt like a toddler boy wearing these colors. I don't know, now it feels silly looking back. I'm like, I think I could pull this off. But definitely before I was kind of like, ugh, why did I make this? If you ever have knits like that, it's just so disappointing because you put so much work into it. And I remember I used like a stripe generator on the internet and like came up with these stripes patterns on my own, like through the generator, and just kind of like tweaked what I wanted. And I just felt like, oh, it was the perfect striped sweater except for the colors. But I'm gonna give it another chance. And then my last knit, which is actually not finished, tragic, I know. I pulled this out to remind myself to talk about the Bernie mittens. I made a bunch of those at the early 2021 because they were just so funny. And then I was gonna make my mom a pair of pink ones and I just got distracted with other projects. So I'm gonna leave this one out and try to finish it in 2022. I mean, I know it's like not super trendy anymore. Like back when I was making them, it was like all everybody was talking about. So yeah, but I'm still gonna try to finish the pink ones because they're super cute and I'm obsessed. Okay, so I know the pile's empty, but I have a bonus knit for everyone. This is my Magnolia Bloom sweater and I actually started it in 2021. And I should have finished it in 2021. Let me rephrase that. I took a long break when I had about this much left of the last sleeve. So again, it should have been finished. I just kept putting it off and ended up finishing it at the beginning of 2022. So I'm counting it for 2021 because like I did all the heavy lifting in 2021. But this is probably one of my favorite patterns. It was so fun to make. I love lace, and I mean, you saw all the color work I did in 2021. I needed a break from it, and this was the perfect kind of palette cleanser. So I can't recommend this pattern enough. Super cute, and you can look on Instagram, like all the different colors all look good with this sweater pattern. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. Woo, we made it. All of the knits gone. So yeah, 2021, very busy year as far as knitting goes. So I've got a lot of big goals for 2022, and I have a couple of things to show you. So first, like my biggest goal is to kind of do an adaptation of my kitty cat and puppy dog sweater, but kid-sized. Oh my gosh, I've never made kids clothes before, so this sizing could be completely wrong and I would have no idea because I have no access to children. So yeah, I'm gonna be calling for test knitters soon on this, preferably people who know children and know children's sizes. I think it should be good. I know this is looking a little bit tight, but I swear it stretches. And really the goal of this not only was to just test out some of the numbers I had, but also was to kind of show off a few more of the duplicate stitch charts that I have for the puppy dog sweater. So these all are different dogs that are available on my adult version of the puppy dog sweater. Just, you know, not many test knitters were able to do like all of the dogs because there are so many different breeds in the pattern, but I tried to highlight a few of my favorites. So this one, obviously, this is a pit bull. There's a bunch of different pit bull colors that I included. My all-time favorite, the corgi. How cute is the corgi? I've been obsessed with him. And then some of the ones I haven't finished. This is gonna be a German Shepherd. This one's gonna be a golden doodle. This one's a Doberman. And then this one is a Samoyed, the big white fluffy dog. We've got a pug here. And then this one's gonna be a Bernese Mountain Dog. So those are just a few that are already in the adult version of the puppy dog sweater. And of course the charts are gonna be able to be used for both patterns. So I don't have to make any more charts, which is super exciting for me. So that's one of my goals, is to do all of the children's sizes. I'm also planning on expanding the sizing for the kitty cat and the puppy dog sweater. I'll say I was a little bit maybe undereducated on sizing for knitting patterns, so I kind of used like a guidebook to help me with all the numbers, and I thought, oh, for sure I've got inclusive sizing, I have 10 different sizes, but really it's not that inclusive. It only goes up to a size 54 around the chest, which I'm finding when you need to account for positive ease in the sweater, and I recommend about 5 to 6 inches of positive ease. That's really not super inclusive. So one of my main goals is to just kind of update the sweater to include, you know, more inclusive sizing for people so that everybody can wear the sweater if they choose. Those are kind of my two most pressing goals for that. And then of course, just loving knitting along the way. Yeah, so another thing I'm planning is I kind of want to do like a YouTube knit along to the puppy dog sweater. That way, like all of the confusing techniques, things like the folded collar or doing increases during a chart. So you can see in this, you get from small to big here, and a lot of people have confusion with how to read this chart. So I've been thinking about on my next sweater, kind of doing like a YouTube knit along for the entire thing. But I've just been kind of, you know, toying around with the idea. I'm not 100% on it yet. If you want to leave a comment if that's something you'd be interested in, I'd love to hear it. Just because, you know, it does open the door for people to kind of be able to knit the sweater without buying the pattern, which, you know, people have already been doing. They've just been kind of using my idea and kind of the pictures I've been posting and kind of creating their own versions. Not that I necessarily need people to buy my pattern, but I did put a lot of work into it. So I wouldn't want to just kind of expose everything about my pattern, you know, for free on the internet. But, you know, if it would be helpful for people, I think I would be open to giving it a try. So that's kind of one of my goals, is to just at least either create specific tutorial videos for things like, you know, doing the duplicate stitch on here, some embroidery techniques, things like that, or just doing a straight up like from cast on to cast off, this is how we do the puppy dog sweater. And I am planning on starting one soon for a friend, so I would probably do that with her sweater. So we'll see. I'm keeping an open mind, but again, if that's something you're interested in, I would love to hear, because it will motivate me to kind of be like, okay, a lot of people would find this helpful, so let me go ahead and do that. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. We got Grumpy Gizmo here, who's super sleepy and ready for a nap. So Giz, can you say goodbye? Are you gonna look and say goodbye? Thanks again for watching.